Hi guys. How's it going? What you guys doing? Oh, thank you, Tara. It's tomorrow, but it's become a race for everyone to tell me happy birthday. Thank you, Blaze. Blaze actually sent me a present the other day, and I got it. So thank you for uh my birthday present, Blaze. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? I was just watching. Now, no affiliation, no kickback from this at all, but I was watching Ryan Hall, y'all, and it's going to be kind of nasty next week. The weather is, I think they set up to like the 120s in the middle of the states. There's other places all over the world that are ridiculously hot. Like it's nasty. And then Thursday, they were showing that there's a good chance of tornadoes in my area. So we'll see. We will see if I go live on Thursday or not. If I end up with no power, obviously I won't go live because I can't. I saw Indiana like everywhere. If y'all are not subscribed to him, it's Ryan Hall, y'all. I highly recommend him because he's like super on top of stuff. He's entertaining. It's quick. He gets to the point really quickly. He's funny, but he's also extremely accurate with what he presents. So really like that one. Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm the same way. Risa says, I'm freezing. The air conditioning is too strong. Just got back from taking the dogs to the dog park, drinking my electrolytes. Yes, he's on YouTube. It's the name of the channel is It's Ryan Hall, y'all. That is the full name of the channel. I subscribed to him when you mentioned him. Yeah, he's really good. He just put out a new one and I was just watching it, and it's talking about the heat wave basically that's coming through the world. It's not just America, it's not just what, like, it's everywhere. And he's talking about the potential for a really, really bad hurricane season. And so I just watched it. It says a historic heat wave is coming. So I just watched that one because every time he puts something else out, I try to stay kind of up to speed on what's going on. So Thursday may be interesting. I may not be able to go live on Thursday depending on what the weather is doing. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I am in the middle of Wisconsin. That's like right in the middle. It's pretty close to right in the middle. And everything else is kind of going around us until Thursday, and then it just goes like this and moves right across the top of us. Great. It's going to be fun. So we may be on generator power again. We'll see how that goes. Thank goodness I got a couple of, I got a dozen LED lights, like the little ones that you put in your garden. And those are out charging right now. And the top of them pop off, and they're all plastic. I got the cheaper plastic ones. So I have 12 of these, but the little top pops off and it looks like a little lantern. And you can turn it on and off inside the lid. And then the kids can each have one in their room if we run out of power again, because they were all scared. And, the flashlights only last for so long. These little things last for like 8 hours. So I saw that tip somewhere and I went, oh, I like it. So those are out in the front yard charging right now, and they're off so that at night they don't come on. They should be fully charged, and then we'll use them if we need them. And then we got 2 camping lanterns that are also power packs. So those will help with charging the phones and stuff like that, but it doesn't really do anything for my internet. I might have to like run an extension cord and plug in the internet into the generator so that I can, it's fun. So Yep, it's going to be interesting. But yes, I'm actually in long sleeves. It's 86 today, but I am wearing long sleeves because the air conditioning is too cold for me everywhere. I just get really, really chilly. So I do this. Thank you, everyone, for the birthday wishes. It's actually tomorrow, but I greatly appreciate it. That, please, yeah, over 100. No, I'm good. Blue Deb says, good afternoon. Having a doctor's appointment tomorrow and collecting the list of tests I want to run. Get your ferritin and your iron checked. I'm telling everybody that. I'm like, request your ferritin and your iron because I'm beginning to learn how much of an impact your iron really has on you. And Dr. Boz talks about it in, I think it's her continuously keto course, the importance of iron, and that's one of the very first thing that she fixes on almost anybody is the iron. So super, super important. Check the ferritin, which is your iron reserves, and then your iron. And only fast for 12 to 14 hours, no longer than that. If you go over 14 hours, sometimes you'll get an elevated blood sugar, even higher than it normally would have been. So check that out. I'm having storms and weird stuff going on with my power and internet. Sounds like me. It's going to be interesting. Thank you, Keto Mama. Don't want hurricanes. Oh my gosh. We were in the Panhandle in Florida for Katrina. That was wild. That's just all there was to it. We didn't have any damage where we were, but I've never seen rain go straight sideways. Just it was crazy. 2 days of no power last week. Use my small solar generator to keep from losing thousands in meat. I actually don't have a solar generator. I only have a gas power generator. So I do have some gas cans, and also we have the deep giant chest freezers. So we're able to let those go for 48 hours without power. And I told my husband, I was like, if we can budget it in the next couple of months, I'd kind of like to get a small solar one so that we could run a few things in the house. Oh, good. 22-hour fast and don't feel hungry. That's awesome. But yeah, the saving the meat. I don't mind, as weird as it sounds, I don't mind losing power in the wintertime here because it's so flippin' cold that my freezers stay frozen just fine. So I probably could get like 4 or 5 days out of my freezers in the wintertime, at least. Unless it's obviously below zero, then as long as I need to, because I have my fireplace to be able to heat the house with. So I'd actually rather lose power in the winter time, as kind of extra as that is. Hello, Mr. Tito. Hi, everyone. Amy, what are your thoughts on taking electrolytes while being on diuretics for high blood pressure? I take, a couple of lists, and potassium prescription. So potassium is actually an electrolyte. And there are a lot of different kinds and formulations of electrolytes. So electrolytes are things like magnesium, sodium, potassium, chloride, and those are the big ones. There's some other ones as well. But what a lot of people think is that as long as I'm taking electrolytes, I'm fine. But especially going to this way of eating, if you're doing the high fat, moderate protein, low carb, I've noticed a very strong theme. Everybody in my space has already been low carb. We were already carnivore. We were already keto, some form of keto. We all think we're already doing what we're supposed to be doing. So we're taking our electrolytes. I wasn't even taking electrolytes before, and we were good. But the water weight that we lose if we do this protocol, if we do the moderate protein, high fat protocol, everybody generally loses a couple of pounds of water weight. That water was the only thing holding on to our electrolytes. So what you were doing before is no longer going to work. And I can speak to this from experience because I wasn't taking any electrolytes. The reason I was not taking electrolytes before switching over to the high fat is because I didn't need them. And when I did take them, my ankles would swell. And I think it's because the one that I was using did have more sodium in it. I would also start to get heart palpitations, and I'm guessing from the potassium. That's the thing about electrolytes, they're a blend of stuff. So you could try one and it would be fine, and you could try another one and it would be horrible. It would give you heart palpitations and sweats and swelling. It doesn't necessarily mean you don't need electrolytes. So I tried the Element and I tried the Relight, and I can have them once in a while, but they still cause the swelling in my ankles. So I actually switched over to Key Nutrients, and they have a lot less sodium in them. And they still have blends of other things. They have a bunch of other things like vitamin C. They have some other nutrients in them as well. So I started taking those, but that's not where I stop. I've started adding quite a bit more magnesium because that's the one that most people have a really hard time with. We think we're okay. We think we're okay because even if you get your blood levels checked, it's going to look like you're fine, but you're not, because your blood has to be very closely regulated to make sure that you don't die. So you are going to look like you're fine, but you're really not. So in your muscles and in the rest of your tissues, you're going to be extremely low on a lot of these electrolytes, but a lot of people find specifically magnesium. The magnesium, if you get those Charlie horses at night, where they wake you up because you moved or stretched or whatever you did, and it is excruciating pain, and it's like twisting and deforming your leg because your muscle is contracting and it's pulling. The way that our muscles work is that signals are sent through the fluid, or electrical signals are sent through our bodies, and it tells the muscle when we want to pick up our foot or pick up your leg to contract some of them and relax other ones so that everything works together in this balance. Well, if your electrolytes are off, all of them can be off or just one of them can be off. If your electrolyte balance is not doing well, then you are going to start misfiring. You're going to start sending poor signals. You're going to start getting crossed wires. And this is where those Charlie horses are coming from. And the really crappy thing about magnesium specifically is you can't just take a huge dose of it and have it stick. Your body is going to get rid of most of what you take if it's over as much as it wants to store. And that's going to give you extreme diarrhea. It can give you all kinds of other things. So magnesium is the really tough electrolyte because we can eat as much salt as we want. You can take potassium and your body will let you know when you've had too much of it. But the magnesium is a really difficult stinker. And so magnesium, the only way to refill it is going to be low and slow. You have to give yourself as much as you can take, what I do. Now, if you're new to magnesium and you're constipated, you could do the milk of magnesia. That's a bottle. It's unflavored, original. It's like drinking chalk, but it works really, really, really well. It will get rid of your constipation and it will help to refill some of your stores. I was doing that, but now if I have even the tiniest little bit, I got fire water coming on my back end. So I can't do that anymore. So I had to switch over to the magnesium glycinate. That's the one that has, I think, one of the one of the best ones that has the lowest chance of giving you the runs. Problem is, I have to take like 6 horse pills, which is fun. You can get it in a better formulation. I ordered the wrong bottle. I'm not about to waste it. So that's what I am back to taking right now. What else you can do is take magnesium baths, the Epsom salt baths, but you would want to do an entire bag of Epsom salts in your bathtub with hot water and then sit there and soak for an hour, at least 40 minutes. And that, because magnesium is one of the elements that we can absorb through our skin. So I really prefer using a blend of different kinds of magnesium. You could use magnesium oil on the outside of your legs. I don't think it's enough by itself. You can do the magnesium baths. I don't think it's enough on its own. You could do the glycinate. For some people, it's kind of enough. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you very much. I prefer to do a blend. So there's magnesium threonate can actually really help with mental clarity. So that would be one that you would want to do more in the morning. Magnesium glycinate can help you calm down, relax your system, and help you sleep. You'd want to do that one in the evening. And then your magnesium baths, you could do several times a week. The best option is to find what's called a magnesium float spa, or it might just be called a float spa. So you can search on your map on your phone or Google it to see. I'll get to the septic system thing. Yeah. So you can Google it to see, just say float spa near me. Like our closest float spa is an hour away. But what it is it's 1,000 pounds of magnesium of the Epsom salts in water that's about 90, 99 degrees. And then you go and you lay in this water, and it makes you, it's like the Dead Sea. There's so much salt in this that it makes you float. But then you lay there for an hour. You can close the lid. You can turn off sound, light, everything. So it's just like this deprivation capsule where you're floating in this. If you could do that several times a month and then be taking the other forms of magnesium, you will refill your stores and it will help immensely, because magnesium deficiency can be everything from lethargy to exhaustion to anxiety to the muscle cramps to heart palpitations to so many things. But almost every single person that is actually doing all of this finds that they are magnesium deficient. And so adding it really does help. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat while I'm talking. So as far as the septic system, I've found numerous things. I found one thing that said, no, it's totally fine. You can do it in a septic system. I found something else that said you're going to have to do like 100 pounds before it's going to throw it off. Well, honestly, it's not going to take you too long to get through 100 pounds if you're doing 5 pounds at a time. If you have a lateral field, I think it would be okay, because the salt is going to be dissolved, the magnesium, and magnesium is actually an excellent fertilizer. So people who have lateral fields will find that when they do the Epsom salt baths, the area where their lateral field is explodes with vegetation, because you're fertilizing that and it never quite makes it into the septic system. I don't have a lateral field. And we started going ahead and, putting some in our baths, and we were doing it. And the other day I was sitting at the window at my breakfast table, and the window was open. And I could smell something. And I was like, that smells like sewage. What the heck? So I'm not sure if the baths that we took screwed it up. So we went out and we got some extra enzymes, and we've been putting the enzymes in the toilet to try to rebalance our septic tank, because we just had it pumped last year. So it's not time to have it pumped out again. So I really don't know. The last option is to just do a foot bath. And you would want to put a huge amount of Epsom salt into the water and then sit there with your feet in the water as long as you can every single day. And you don't have to really change that water out. You know, like your bath, you kind of need to drain that. And the foot bath, if you could warm it up, yes, it'd be nice. But you could reuse that one over and over and over again. The amount of skin that's going to be absorbing is very small. So the higher the concentration, if you could use a whole bag in the water, that would be the best. And then reuse it time and time again to try to help. But the way that I recommend people take magnesium specifically is I want you to start at a lower dose. Take that one pill the next morning. Every day you're going to go up in whether it's a pill or however you're doing it. If it's a tablespoon for the milk of magnesia, you're going to continue to up it. You can do morning and night or just at night until you have fire water. Then you're going to step back to the one step just before you ended up getting the runs and see what happens. Because if you're a little bit loose, but you're not getting really bad side effects, it would be good to live there as long as you can, as well as doing all of these other implements of the magnesium oil and the Epsom salt baths or the foot baths or the soaks or the other forms of magnesium that you're taking. Now, again, electrolytes work in a balance. So for some people, if they are affecting their magnesium, they need to add the other things too. And this is where the electrolyte blends can come in really handy. But there's so many blends out there that have high sodium, low sodium, high potassium, low potassium. Oh my gosh. Until you try a bunch of them, it's really hard to know which one is going to work for you. Because if you try one form of electrolytes and you get the swelling of the ankles like I do, then you would say, oh, I can't do electrolytes, but there's other forms. So as far as it goes for being on blood pressure medications or things like that, it really is going to be a case-by-case basis. Blood pressure is generally affected very quickly when you get into a keto diet. When you reduce the amount of carbohydrates that you are taking into your body, carbs hold on to water. So when you eat carbs, you're going to retain water. That is actually one of the biggest problems that people have when they go on these low carb journeys. And it's truly low carb where you're getting into ketosis. It's low carb and moderate protein. I have a bunch of people who are having to come off of their blood pressure medications very quickly. Because even though they were carnivore before that, and they thought that they were doing really well, the protein was turning into glucose, and that was making them retain water. And as soon as they reduced their protein down to where it wasn't overwhelming their system, then it did help tremendously. And now they have to start coming off of their medications because it's reducing their blood pressure so much. Does salt have an effect on blood pressure? Yes and no. It is not the main problem with blood pressure. Sugar is always going to be the main issue with blood pressure. We used to always say that it was carbs, carbs, carbs. I have a lot of people that are proving it's not just carbs, it's protein too, for them specifically. Some people can eat a lot of protein and their body will still use the fat for fuel and they're fine with it. My body, being special the way that it is, looks around and goes, look at all these fat reserves. This is fantastic. We should save this for a rainy day because look, this lady is eating more protein than we need to replace any of our cells with. So let's make sugar. And that's why my morning glucose numbers were actually not even my morning glucose numbers. My afternoon glucose numbers were in the high 90s when I first started checking, even though I was 20 or less carbs a day and eating just protein and fat. My body really likes to turn protein into sugar. It's not supposed to do that. It's an expensive process. It shouldn't want to do that. But gaining 20 pounds and having higher blood sugar numbers and higher blood pressure and a whole lot of other things, then it was very interesting to figure that out. So for some people, as far as the electrolytes go with high blood pressure, it's going to depend on how you're eating. Are you changing the way that you are eating? It could be you could handle the magnesium, the potassium, but not the sodium and the chloride. So finding a different blend of electrolytes could be very helpful as well. Let me see. I'm trying to catch up. I'm actually drinking water right now because I still have not eaten anything. And I didn't want to check my numbers yet until just before I ate. And if I drink the electrolytes with a sweetener in it, I just didn't want to do it. Let me see. If you have AFib, you must take a beat regulator like metoprolol. These words are so funny. And a blood thinner like Eliquis because of the clotting to prevent strokes. What about this problem? With those, you are going to have to work with your doctor because AFib is a whole different beast. It may go away with a high fat, moderate protein diet. It may not, because some people actually develop AFib simply from gluten. Like their bodies short circuit that much because of gluten. And if they go off of gluten, then it goes away. I don't know of any studies that say that getting into ketosis can help, but it helps so many other things. It really makes me wonder if it would. I did message. I messaged before KetoCon, and Angela said after KetoCon, I gave her a chance to get back and relax a little bit. I'm actually going to message Angela, her planning assistant, probably tomorrow, and then find out when we will be able to record and explain the situation of I've got a lot of questions and my people, we're all low carb. We got that. We got that part. Well, let's go a little bit deeper. Let's dig into the science behind too much protein. I have so many questions right now. Siobhan Huggins, I think she is on YouTube. I'm not positive. Yeah. But she has her own website though. Siobhan Huggins does. Julia asked, how is your hair loss now? As of right now, it's slowed down even more. When I take a shower, there is even less hair in the drain, in the shower. So right now, my hair loss is less. But I'm waiting until beginning to mid-September. That is my benchmark 3 months of being in ketosis. And I'm going to watch and I'm going to see what happens, because a shock to your system, like going into ketosis or changing your diet, could cause hair loss on its own. So that's kind of what I'm going to watch for. And I'm going to report back to everybody, hey, my hair started falling out again, or I still haven't noticed the hair loss. So here's hoping. We'll see what happens, because just changing diets, even though I went from low carb to low carb, I flipped the other two. and that could be enough to shock it. But the last 2 showers at least, I'm like, that's all? Like, really? That's all I'm gonna lose? So here's hoping. We shall see. We are a totally different breed. Like, we are a different breed, a different tribe. We are not normal. Let me see. I forgot to take potassium for a few weeks. I got these massive cramps in my leg the other day. Back on it now. I'm feeling better. Yes, and that's the hard part, is that potassium deficiency has the same symptoms as magnesium deficiency, which has the same symptoms as sodium deficiency. Unless you get a hair and mineral test, it's really hard to say what's going to work without trying to do some self-experimentation. But magnesium does not respond immediately. So you're going to try taking magnesium. You're going to give yourself the runs. The leg cramps are still there, and you're going, oh, must not be magnesium. Magnesium can take months to years to refill your system with. So that's not one of the ones that you can take and see if you get an immediate result. Potassium is definitely one of those. I don't know if it's the potassium in it or if it's the fiber in it, but I'm back to reacting to avocados. I can't handle them again. I get the heart palpitations and my ankles blow up to the size of my calves. So it's not working. It's just not worth it. Magnesium experimentation is safer than messing around with potassium. I completely agree. Like, potassium, that messes with your heart so fast. Potassium is not something that you can just take copious amounts of and be fine. It actually can be very dangerous with potassium. So always follow, which is funny because we carnivores, or low carbers even, don't get a whole lot of potassium, because a lot of it is found in fruits and veggies. The thing is, I kind of don't think we've been getting, they say like 4 to 7 grams a day or something like that. And I don't think we've actually been getting that much, just because they say that some veggie has a ton of potassium or an avocado has a ton of potassium. If our soils are so depleted, that food is not going to have potassium in it. So we think that we're getting a whole lot of potassium when in fact we're not, because everything is so depleted. So, the recommendation of 4 grams a day, I don't know that unless you're supplementing, but then if you're supplementing, I have heard cream of tartar is very high in potassium. So I have heard of some people who just mix some cream of tartar into their water and drink it that way. So there are so many different methods to adding electrolytes. You could make your own blend. You could buy a blend. You can supplement with capsules and pills. You can do, for the magnesium, you can do the magnesium oil and the soaks and things like that. There is absolutely no one size fits all for this one. More than almost anything else, electrolytes are vital for life. You will die if you do not have enough electrolytes. Your blood has to stay very, very tightly regulated in order for you to live in regards to electrolytes. And this is why we are having so many problems on keto, because electrolytes are stored in water. If you are in ketosis, you don't keep water. So your electrolyte storage containers in your body, your little water bubbles, aren't there, which means that you do not hold electrolytes. Because what used to happen is that your body retaining 8 pounds of fluid, all of that fluid could store all of your electrolytes. So your blood is always king. It's always going to have the proper balance of electrolytes or you die. And then we go into your muscles. Well, if your muscles start to get a little bit low when you're retaining all of that water, they pull some from the water. And then they're refilled and they're good. And then the blood can pull from your muscles and everything, and it's good. When we flush all of that water out of our bodies when we're keto, we're not holding our reserves anymore. So the best we've got is to pull it from our muscles. When that happens, they begin to misfire. There's miscommunications and crossed wires. And this is where the heart palpitations can come in, the headaches, the leg cramps, like your rib will kind of like twist a little bit and you get that sharp, super sharp pain. That can be a deficiency in your electrolytes. So because we don't hold on to our electrolytes the same way, we have to continually put them in. And because the foods that we're eating are devoid, and remember, pasta, for example, protein is probably not a good source of electrolytes unless it is regeneratively grown meat with the proper nutrients in the soil, in the grass that the animal is eating, that the farmers are putting back into the earth. So unless that's happening, probably not. Everything is nutrient deficient nowadays. I think that we've slowly been coming down. Think about pasta or bread or tortillas or all of those grains. What were they? They were fortified. And we were told on our little pyramid that we are supposed to consume 7 to 11 servings of grains a day. Well, why is that? They're fortifying all of this stuff with synthetic vitamins and minerals. And you have to eat large volumes of it to get the number of nutrients that you need. You weren't getting that from whole foods. You were getting it from processed frankenfood that they fortified. What does fortifying do? What does it actually mean? They removed a lot of what was already in there, and then they put something else in it. So they could take out $1 and put in a penny, but as long as they put that penny back in there, then they can say that it's been enriched, it's been fortified. But you had to eat huge amounts, volumes of food to be able to get the nutrients that you needed. Fat does not have a whole lot of electrolytes in it. I don't think protein has a whole lot of electrolytes in it. I don't think plants have a lot of electrolytes in them anymore. I really don't. I think that the processed food had more because they enriched it. And that's why everybody on standard American diet doesn't have electrolyte imbalances, because we're eating our electrolytes in the processed foods. They set us up so that we became addicted to it and had to depend on it. So then when we get rid of the processed foods, all of a sudden it's not enough for our fruits and our veggies. Not that we do fruit, but for the veggies, for the meat, and for the fats, we're getting all these cramps and we're having all these problems. That must mean it's not good for us. No, they were feeding us what we needed to survive and got us addicted to it. So I think that is one of the reasons that we have such a hard time on keto, because we were being fed exactly what we needed before in the enriched foods. So hopefully that answers your question on that. New salt or no salt it's all potassium. Isn't it salt and potassium? Or no, I think you're right. I think it might just be potassium. Just be careful with it. Be careful. The low insulin levels. Okay, let me see. Whoop, come back. You're the only YouTuber I never get notifications when you go live. I know. I don't know. Yeah. So Joy, all of my people are like, set your own alarm in the group. They're like, set your own alarm because you're not going to get a notification from YouTube. I go live 3 Central on Sundays and Thursdays, always. Even if it's just for 5 minutes, I'm going to pop in here and say hi because I'm doing something else. I will go live at that time unless I have no power. Then I will not do that because I can't, because I will have no internet, not even from a phone. I take several brands of electrolytes every day. One of them is Dr. Berg's, which is high in potassium because my labs are a little low. Yes, I think that blends of potassium, blends of electrolytes, blends of magnesium. I think all of us need to be doing magnesium. Whether you have symptoms or not, I think everyone should be doing magnesium because I think the statistic was like 98% of people who were tested on the cellular level are magnesium deficient. It's some astronomical number. So I think everyone should just do magnesium before you get the symptoms would be the best one. I found morning headaches were an electrolyte problem. Absolutely. Beef is best, even if mistreated. Chicken is horrible, but obviously well-raised animals are always preferable. Agreed. Let me see. And the thing is, I think that there's a reason that beef is best. The beef is still getting a lot of those grains, and a lot of those grains have synthetic fertilizers, which have the minerals in them. So the grains that the beef is being fed, even if it's not good, high quality, beef, it is going to get into the cow. So it does help, but I still don't think it's enough once you remove all the grains and things like that. So I'm so glad that you said that. I completely agree. Yeah, I'll eat my chicken. I mean, I eat store chicken right now because it's what I can afford. I'm not even sure. It's what's in my freezer. So we haven't bought meat in a little while right now because I have freezers full right now and I'm trying to make room for deer season because it is coming. So we will see. We will see what happens. Do people on Dr. Boz have hair thinning problems? Sorry, I'm like, not anyone that's in ketosis. From what I have seen, most of them do not, but the initial shock of changing your diet is what causes the hair loss to begin. And it's about 3 months in, and people go, oh, what's 3 months in? It must be the keto diet. It was actually just most likely the shift. So most people do not have thinning hair on keto. It's just that initial drop. I didn't have thinning hair on keto. It wasn't until I went carnivore, and then it continued after that. Let me see. By the way, animals love salt. Yes, they do. Let me see. I've been on low carb since October 2020. I eat extremely healthy and a variety of stuff, and I still have to take a lot of vitamins and supplements to keep levels normal. I used to be almost constantly thirsty, and it usually flushed me. Yes, so you're badly low on sodium on the blood test. Don't feel as thirsty anymore, supplementing electrolytes and minerals. I'm good. Good. You have your alarm set. Y'all, it's crazy. I don't get any headaches anymore. If I have some electrolytes, oh, good. Lucky the diet cured migraines. I love it. You know what? I missed something up here because I saw Emily's name. I'm going to go back and try to find it. It might take me a minute. I forgot. Okay. I saw that one. I think it was Thomas. Thomas is the one that said something about M. I'm trying to go back and find it. I saw it pass by. Let me see. Where did it go? I had a great time at the Northeast meetup yesterday and talking to you and Emily Penton live from there. It was so cool. That was so perfect. Well, I missed a lot just now. The bear was back. Yep, welcome to the wild. I had to go with our air horn and scare him off. Yeah, we actually have a bear that lives in our creek in the spring with her cubs. I haven't seen it this year, but she normally comes every single year. So we just stay out of the creek. She can have her space and we'll have our space. It's fine. So for magnesium cream, I actually don't have any that I have ever purchased. I made my own magnesium oil spray. And I did it it was when I was in California. There's all kinds, I think, Wellness Mama. Wellness Mama is the one that I got the recipe from for doing the magnesium spray. You buy a certain kind of magnesium bath flakes. You dissolve it in a certain amount of water. You can add essential oils. You have to be careful when you use it on your skin because it can cause a burning and a tingling sensation. So a lot of people will mix it with some other kind of carrier oil, or they will put it on the bottom of their feet instead because the skin is thicker and so they don't have the same types of reactions. I was trying to put it on my calves because when I first went keto, true keto, I flushed everything. And so I was starting to get the leg cramps. I've been battling leg cramps for 3 years. And I'm just now learning about the different types of magnesium that you should be taking and the different forms and all of these other things. So I've never used a store-bought magnesium cream. I have probably a cup and a half to maybe almost 2 cups of rendered tallow, and it's creamy white and beautiful. No anything else is in it. And I'm thinking I'm going to try making some whipped tallow lotion, and I may dissolve some magnesium into it as well because I thought that might be a good idea. So there's some magnesium bath flakes that you're supposed to get to make the magnesium oil with. And I thought that might be a good way to do it because the tallow would create the barrier to help the magnesium not sting my skin. And then I can put whatever essential oils that I want into it. Yeah, that was my thought. If I was a hunter, I'd have my freezers full of venison, but I hear it's very lean. Give me fattened beef. Yeah, it's very lean. And the fat on the venison does not taste very good. So we end up cutting all of that off and processing it. A lot of people actually like to put pork fat in with their venison when they grind it to do the burgers and things like that. I tried it with beef suet. It gummed up my grinders so bad. It was even frozen and we tried, it didn't matter. It was horrible. So I may go for the pork fat this time to see if that helps. Otherwise, I'm just going to take a big old huge spoonful of tallow and flop it in the pan or butter or bacon grease or whatever it is with the venison. I last year made some little venison nuggets, backstrap nuggets. Oh, they were so good. I would cut them up into pretty decent size, like 1-inch cubes, and then throw them in a really hot cast iron pan with butter, a decent amount of butter in the bottom of it. And then I would sprinkle them with Redmond seasoned salt and just mix that up and cook it to where they were still medium rare in the middle. So it did not take long at all. Just kind of stir it. Sometimes I'd take tongs and flip them over real quick. And oh, they were so good. And then you pour all the butter on top. It's like dipping. So good. I do have a couple of venison recipes way back when on my channel, my YouTube channel. I made venison enchiladas and I made, what's the other one? I made something else. Oh, stuffed backstrap. It is so good. Like, so good. Stuffed venison backstrap. And you could do it with elk. It was phenomenal with elk. It was so good. Yeah, black bears aren't very threatening. They eat berries. They like berries and plants. I have the same horrible cramp in my left leg every morning. It's a special massage therapist that makes sure it's not a clot. Cramps are not fun. Good. I was going to say, same leg? That concerns me a tiny bit. But if you're sure that it's not a clot, then that's good. Oh, by the way, chat, what's your iodine dose? I'm taking 2% to 10. Okay, 10 drops twice a day, maybe. Blue balls, and I'm still not boinging. Starting to get concerned.
Mandy's here, and he brought Dusty, and Dusty has a gun, and he's about to kill a chicken.
Don't kill the chicken.
No.
Oh my gosh, y'all, this is hilarious. Okay, hang on. Here, come talk to the people real quick, and I'll go deal with that. Okay, you come sit here and be adorable. Okay? Can you show them stuff and talk about something? What you gonna talk about? I gotta stop someone from shooting a chicken. Hang on.
They're shooting bears.
No, I gotta stop them from shooting.
Hi. My name is what, Daddy? My name is Bella.
Talk louder. Oh, talk louder. They can't hear you.
Oh. My name is. I don't know.
What are you doing?
Mommy.
Daddy told me to come. Mommy told me to come upstairs.
Can't see it. Mommy, you want to do it? Hi, everybody. I don't know how to do it.
Tell a story.
Once upon a time, there was a princess named
Sit up.
Cassie. Continue, Bella.
Keep telling them something.
And then
What happened?
It's still alive. He's just relaxed.
Mommy.
Yeah.
Wait a
I gotta go put him in the cage.
minute. And then she sit down with her sister.
Okay, keep telling them a story. I'm gonna go throw this thing in a cage.
And then she went to a ball. And then she saw a prince. And then she ate some cheese. And then she had to go back home. And then she did
Read the chat.
cha-cha.
People say stuff in the chat.
I know. Keep telling the story. And then what? And then she ate more cheese and she dipped it in milk. And then she had some drinks, like some peach tea. You love peach tea. And then she lit a candle that smelled like roses. Yeah, roses. Want to talk? Then roses. And then she read a book about a princess. What did she read a book? And then she read a book about
Your
saving a
substitutes are not
princess.
working out very well.
I bet this was the most entertaining life ever.
I have never
Children, you're excused. Thank you.
run.
The chicken is in the cage outside.
Run.
I love you. Shut the door. Oh my gosh. That was hilarious. So, Cassidy had a sleepover at her friend's house. The old owners of this house, who have children very similar in age, she was having a sleepover, and they were feeding the chickens. And the mom made a comment of, "Oh, I got to get rid of that chicken, that rooster." And Cassidy goes, "My mom will take it," because we feed the dogs the naughty roosters. I kill them and I feed them to the dogs. And so she's like, "My mom will take it." And she goes, "Would she really want it?" And she goes, "Yeah, but are you okay with her killing it? Because we're going to feed the dogs." And she goes, "Have her text me." So I texted her and I said, "I heard you have a rooster that needs eaten." And she said, "Are you sure you want him? He's kind of a jerk." And I said, "Oh, those ones are even better. They taste the best." So I said, "Yes, absolutely." I said, "You want me to come pick it up?" And she said, No, we'll drop it off." And I thought, as soon as I go live, they're going to bring the chicken. And so we got, 50 minutes into it? Oh, no, we're not. Oops. So tonight the dogs are getting fresh chicken because she had that one. And I have one hen that is starting to go after the eyes of other hens. And I've killed 2 roosters in front of her to show, hey, don't be a jerk because you will die. She's not figuring it out yet. So Libel is going to have the hen, and Shuriken is going to get the new rooster. And they will. Nature is freaking cruel. Like, it's bad. Cassidy ran out there and she was like chucking stuff at the hens. This one, all of her feathers are getting picked out, and the one was going for her eye. I'm not dealing with that. It's just, yeah, the eyes. So she is psychotic. And the Samanis are, no, when you hang them upside down, they just kind of, it's like a shark. If you were to turn a shark upside down, they just kind of go, okay. And then they just relax. Yeah, I called the jerks. I'm done. I'm absolutely done. So Samanis are really cool. It's CEM. Let me see. I'm going to type it because I'm going to get it wrong. It's CEMANI. That's what it's called. Is a Samani chicken.
Actually, there's more to it.
Oh, is there more to it?
Samani's just we just say
we call them Samanis, but if you Google a Samani, it is an all black chicken. Like, the comb is black, the eyes are black, the feet are black, the meat is black, the organs are black, and how black it is depends on how pure the bloodline is. So they actually come from, where was it? India? Somewhere. But chickens, and they're really, really high in phosphorus, but what they're bred for is cockfighting. So they are, yes, and the purebreds lay the black eggs. Ours lay creamy white eggs, or the pinky eggs. So they're super high in phosphorus. They're supposed to be one of the best and healthiest chickens out there because of all of the minerals and the nutrients in it. But let me tell you, buffering. Oh, I hope no one got online.
I don't know. I'm not online.
Would you go yell at people? They know they're supposed to be on a desk, but I don't know. But yeah. Anyways. So, okay, everyone else's video feed just went wacky. Great. Oh, no, Emily just sent me a text. There we go. Okay, I'm waiting for a second to see if the video feed comes back. And I'm blurry too. Yeah, everyone's got to be kicked off. The man is on the way to go yell at people. I should just do that. I'll just do that. It could be because I started getting texts. Let me see. Okay. Yell nice. Very handy to have a guy around. Yes. You can hear me okay. Okay, then I'm just going to keep talking. Hopefully it'll be okay. So they're bred for cockfighting, and it's just in their nature to be kind of nasty. So we have Samanis, and one of them, they're goth chickens. They seriously are. One of them, his name is Godzilla. He earned his bad boy name. My dogs, it was like almost a year ago, they decided to play tag with him. And it's not because I was feeding them chickens. They just were puppies and the chickens were out in the yard. And so they were chasing him. I am like 90% sure that they broke his neck because he would run and his head would go from side to side. He was not doing well at all. So we brought him inside. Cassidy spent a month nursing him back to health and making sure that he was okay and pampering him and putting like pee pads in her lap and just taking care of him for a solid month. Nursed him back to health. Well, now he is starting to attack my ducks. And Godzilla is the last Samani rooster that we have, but all the Samani roosters have ended up being jerks. And I told Richard, I was like, I don't even know if I want them anymore. If they're attacking people, they're attacking the other birds that I have, I'm not going to deal with this. And they don't go and attack the predators. They run away from the predators. And I'm like, you guys are like literal definitions of chickens. Because I'll beat up people that I know I can beat up, but if there's an actual threat, I'm going to run away. So it's really funny. I love my Easter egg chickens. So with all of that being said, chickens are the majority of the time absolutely worth it. I love my chickens. My ducks are disgusting and messy, and yet the ducks will run to us for protection. Yes, but ducks are so gross, but they're so much fun. Ducks are like college kids. They don't think things through. They get themselves into some very interesting predicaments, and they want to stay up all night partying. And then they come in the morning, they're like, whoa, that was a long night. What you got to eat? I'm hungry. And they poop everywhere. Oh my gosh. So ducks are fun. They're interesting. Chickens are very reliable. They're very easy. Ducks, you can't get them to come home to go to bed at night. They won't do it. Chickens, the sun's not even down yet, and they're in the coop like, hey, woman, can you shut the door, please? They lay eggs almost all the time, consistently, even in the wintertime. If you were to do like a heat lamp and a red lamp, then that would help them. I don't do that. I like to give my chickens a break. I figure that's the way that God created them. Nature made them to where they didn't lay for a little while. And while I could force it to keep them going, I don't really want to. So I do let them have a break in the wintertime. So I actually freeze dry our eggs so that we can eat those throughout the winter. Duck eggs are really, really good. They're very different. They have a very different taste, and they make the best egg white bread. Duck eggs make the best ever of the Hawaiian sweet rolls. No sound? I have no idea why. Why do I not have sound? This is terrible. Okay, now everyone else says I got sound. So the question is, do I not have issues with the butchering? It's not my favorite. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. But there's a lot of things in life that we don't want to do, and we have to learn how to do. So I've tried many different ways of culling them. Now you can't hear me. Seriously? I got nothing. YouTube does not like me. I've tried several different ways, and I found one that I like that seems to be very untraumatic for the birds. Okay, there was a couple of times that I killed them and it did not go well, and it was kind of traumatic for me and the bird. It was, yeah, which is why I don't like it. But now I do what's called the broomstick method. What happens is you lay them down, you hang them upside down because they just lay there, and then you lay just the head on the ground. And then it's called cervical dislocation. You put a rod or something over their neck and you break the neck, and then they're instantly gone because they were already upside down. So they're already kind of out of it anyways. And then you immediately break their neck. And so then they're good. And they're gone. And then they're not flopping all over the place in the death throw that chickens do, flinging blood everywhere because the head is still attached. So that's nice. And then processing them afterwards, I dip them in water, and hot water. It's like 150 degrees for about 20 seconds. I make them do a little dance in the water and up and down and that. And then the feathers just peel off a lot easier. I do still peel the feathers off for the dogs because I do not want them to equate feathers to dinner. So I will still do that. And then today I'm just going to throw them each a whole carcass. Normally I'll cut the meat off and I'll gut it, and I'm practicing doing all of that, but I'm just going to throw it to him because I don't want to do it. Yeah. Okay, so I have a whole lot of people that are like, nope, it's good. Dude, Tina, this girl's and Noah's. I feed my dogs raw. Yes, I do. Honestly, I don't like it, Julia. I really don't. It's not my favorite thing to do, but there's a lot of stuff I don't like to do. And I tried giving them away. I tried selling them. I tried everything and I couldn't. And I was majorly high on roosters and they were starting to fight and they were killing one another. One of them got blinded. So it was like, okay, I have to be the person. Oh, good. You're good now. I had to be the person. I was like, I have to deal with it. Debbie asked, how do I know if I'm also turning protein or fat into sugar? My numbers are high in the morning. That's how. 104, sometimes 119 glucose, and then the ketones during the day lower. Yep, that's 100% exactly what you're doing, Debbie, is that you are turning your excess protein into glucose. And if you've already lowered your protein to 1 gram to 1 kilogram of ideal body weight, optimal body weight from a BMI chart, not I weigh 200, I'd love to weigh 175 when you should really be 145. I recommend that you go to the BMI chart and you see where you're optimal. You can pick the last one on the chart, the heaviest one, and then turn that into kilograms. If it's in pounds, you'll turn it into kilograms by dividing by 2.2, just in case you're curious. That's how many grams of protein you would start at. For most people, that's their max, or a tiny bit over that can be okay as well. But the thing is that when you start doing that, you lower your intake of protein, something very interesting begins to happen. You start running on ketones, you're running on fat, you have to eat high fat. There is no option. You have to do high fat, or you won't have any fuel. Then you won't have any ketones. Then you're going to feel terrible. But when you do that, if your liver has any fat stores, any glycogen reserves in it, it's going to start popping those bubbles. So after you go lower protein and you are also very, very low carb, your body will be able to begin spring cleaning and it'll start clearing out the fatty reserves from your liver. And that can cause your blood sugar to go even higher. But it's only for a little bit of time. For some people, it's days. For some people, it's years because they've never not had a fatty liver. They've probably had it for the past 20 years. And I think it was Dr. Berg that said, if you have a belly, you have a fatty liver. Plain and simple. There's no questions about it, because your body is first going to store the excess fat and the excess fuel in your liver. And then it just gets bigger and bigger. And then you can't handle it anymore. So then it begins to fill out. And that is where all of this extra belly fat would come from. So Julia said it took her six-ish months to empty her liver. So you're going to see really high sugars in the morning and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's backfiring. It's not working. No, your body is actually doing what it should have done all along, because we should only have 24, maybe 48 hours worth of glycogen stored in our livers. That's all we should have. But if we store glycogen and then we eat tons and tons and tons of carbs or tons and tons and tons of protein that gets turned into glucose, we just keep storing more and more and more and more. This is how Richard went keto. And he lost his fatty liver, verified with an ultrasound, and then went carnivore and gained it back. Every time that we empty our liver, when we eat again, it's supposed to refill. Our muscles are always supposed to refill with glycogen. Our liver is always supposed to refill with glycogen. Always. How much it refills, and if you never empty it, but you keep filling, eventually it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is where fatty liver comes from, because we went and we got the ultrasounds when we got the CAC scores for Richard and I, and they were like, oh, well, your CAC score is that he had a 1. I had a 0. And they were like, but you have a fatty liver. And we literally both went, that's impossible. We're carnivore. He can't have a fatty liver. No, you must be wrong. And you're just, trying to, with a score of 1, they wanted him on a statin. So we were like, oh, we just can't believe anything they say. No, he really did have a fatty liver. He really, really did. And it's because he was eating 2 pounds of protein every day. Protein and fat, 2 pounds of meat every day. And yes, a lot of the time it was ribeye, but it was still too much protein for his personal physiology. Okay. Yeah. I was like, wait, what is this? Let me see. Rebecca says, got my morning blood down to 117. I was ecstatic. Does this mean that my liver is getting rid of the fat now? It's clearing out your reserves. It really is. And it can take a long time. I think the longest I've heard is like 18 months. But yeah, so protein, as much as people want to say that protein does not turn into glucose, they want to say that it does not, gluconeogenesis cannot be forced. You're right, it can't be forced, but sometimes our bodies really like to do it. And I am proof of that. Hence the 20 pounds that I gained, and my sugars in the afternoon were 98, which means in the morning, they were up in like the 1s and 110s. And the clinical diagnosis for diabetes is a fasting glucose of 120 or higher. So I know carnivores that have come to me and said, I'm a strict carnivore. I don't cheat. I don't do anything. My morning numbers are 118. They were 2 points away from being deemed a diabetic as a carnivore. So it's like, it is very, very, very possible. Let me see. Yeah, that's pre-diabetic versus diabetic, 100%. It's taken 6 months. Did I eat fatty meat? Oh, yes, I did. I ate ribeyes, and I ate beef ribs, and I ate chicken skins, and I ate the whole egg. I tried the protein sparing for a minute, but my mental state just declined so fast that it wasn't an option for me. I had to keep my fat up. And I thought I was doing good. I was 1-to-1. I was, for every 1 gram of protein, I was 1 gram of fat, which still works out to be like 70, 75% fat. But it was just too much protein for me because I was making too much glucose. So that's what that was. So what's the connection between liver popping glycogen and healing the fatty liver? So the reason that you have a fatty liver is because of the stores of fuel that are in your liver. It's glycogen, and it is actually fat. So once you stop over consuming protein and or carbs, then your body is going to clear out a lot more of that glycogen because it doesn't want to have a fatty liver. Usually when you go keto, your organs are the first things to be cleared out. They will get healthy, even though the rest of us is still a little bit fluffy. So it will absolutely clear out. You just have to give it the right parameters and the right chemistry to be able to do what it is supposed to do. I gained 30 pounds doing a high protein carnivore. Yep. So you didn't get full. I didn't eat much before, if this is what you're talking about, Julia. I'm guessing that my ghrelin. I think my ghrelin was very far off because I didn't really want to eat. I was forcing myself to eat, and I kept getting severe meat aversions. I did not want the meat. And I was like, oh, just push through it. I'll be fine. Now I understand. My body was like, yo, dummy, stop giving me so much protein. I can't use it. I don't want it. But I was listening to everyone else who's like, no, you got to up your protein. You got to have enough protein. Your hair's falling out because you're eating not enough protein. So I was up to 150 to 200 grams of protein a day on some days, forcing it down. It didn't matter. Like I never wanted to eat, period. And it's because of the severe meat aversion, because it was just too much protein. Because now that I'm on the much lower protein, I ignored my body. Yes, I did. Because everyone else said all you got to do is eat 2 pounds of meat every day. Yes, you can add some butter to it. Yes, that's good. Eat the ribeyes, eat the fatty stuff, but make sure that it's 2 pounds of meat. I don't eat 2 pounds of food now. Not even close. My husband's alarm's going off. So that's what I ended up doing was I listened to everybody else and not my body. And that's where I think a lot of these meat aversions come from. My husband, he was like, why are you doing this? I was like, because so-and-so said. And he's like, would you stop? He goes, you literally tell people to listen to their bodies and you're not doing it yourself. Whoops. Yeah. So I can speak to you guys about all of that because I know, because I've been there. Rebecca said A1C is stuck in the high 6s. Are you, Rebecca, doing the Dr. Boz ratio out of curiosity? Oh, good. You said you know you're on autophagy, though. Your tummy is shrinking. Let me see. Yeah, we all have our personal protein threshold. The 1-to-1 is an estimate of where you should start grams to kilograms. I know some people who can go higher. I know some people who have to go lower. But they're like, my numbers are still horrible in the morning. And like, not even in the morning, but after they eat, they'll check their numbers and they're like, everything went up. It's like, you ate too much protein. I don't think we're going to have to be super low protein forever. I think we will be able to raise it back up again when we get the healing and when our body's chemistry is able to function better. I think that we will be able to have some more protein, but for right now, we're going to have to just keep it down so that our bodies can chill for a little bit. And also fluctuate in the clearing out. My morning numbers reflect glycogen popping for a few days, then not. Back to Dr. Boz ratio in the 30s. Now I'm trying to not only check once a day before eating. That's what I'm doing. I'm only checking right before I eat, which I absolutely need to eat. So I'm going to check as soon as we get off so that I can do that. Risa said, I forgot to tell you, I got the thin sliced beef from Costco and I made the dehydrated meat in my air fryer today. It's amazing. Oh, good. I'm so glad that you like it. I'm noticing that I can't abide chicken anymore. Just want beef. Y'all, I crave those darn sardines now. Never in a million years did I think that I would be someone who was like, I could just eat a can of sardines, but I love those stinking things. It's ridiculous. Rebecca trying as much as possible for Dr. Boz. Yeah. For me, my why is a whole lot stronger than a lot of everyone else's reasons. I heard the other day, one of the best sayings Emily told me that it is, you need a why that'll make you cry. And it's true. You need to have a reason worth crying over to stick to this in the beginning, especially. And then the further along you go, the better you feel. So it does make it easier. Oh, and to answer your question about the iodine, I don't tell anyone how much I take because I take a pretty darn high dose and I don't want people to try to emulate me. If you're curious, you can email me. And I swear I'm going to create a waiver for people to sign before I tell them how much I'm taking. But I don't publicly tell everyone how much iodine I take because people want to copy and they go, well, I want your results, so I'm going to do what you do. And iodine could literally kill someone if they jumped up too fast. But it's a pretty darn high dose. It's one of the highest that I've ever heard of in the book and other people. There's some that do take higher than me, but not a lot. Let me see. My body felt worse when I tried to eat a lot of beef. Old symptoms started coming back. I had to go back to pork and chicken. Dr. Georgia Eid is that way. She cannot do beef. She can't do the ruminants at all. So she has to stick with fowl. Can she do any ruminants? I think mostly no ruminants. I think it's almost all fowl. My body is having iodine cravings. Like I crave my iodine dose. It's weird, right? Just hopefully you're detoxing it really well and not having any problems. I secretly love that we are all in this together. Me too. I'm so grateful that I had no success. I'm really glad that just eat meat didn't work for me, because then everyone else would still be feeling like you're the anomaly, you're the outcast, you're not normal. When I think honestly, Emily Penton, she did a poll with her people and she said, did carnivore give you the results that you wanted? 80% of the people said no. 80% of the people that she polled did not get the results that they were promised and were told that would happen. So I think that the 80% is probably very accurate. I think that there's probably 80% of us that don't get the results we were promised, but we don't walk around talking about it because we did get results. We did get benefits. And so we just cling on to those that we did get. And we say, yeah, see, it did work. Well, maybe not all the way, but it did work. You can absolutely take it beyond carnivore by flipping those macros. And that is when, hi, Trish. And when you flip those macros, when you go the high fat and then do the moderate protein, and you're still carnivore, you get really, really good. Yes, that was, I don't know which rooster it was. Hi, baby.
Can you play Minecraft?
I'm still on.
And how much longer are you gonna be?
Until a million bajillion years.
And then can we play fish?
Maybe in a little bit. Go on, tiny human.
Yeah, dessert.
No, you're not getting dessert either. I'm going to squish you. With kisses. Many, many, many kisses. They only get electronics on the weekend. And then I have to come in and go, sorry guys, I need the internet, so you have to get off. And they're like, okay. So, yeah. They have to wait. Let me see. I really wanted 1-to-1 to be it. Because I love lean meat and lots of it. Now I'm really missing my stacks of meat cookies. I honestly, this is my theory. I have nothing to back it up besides the people that I talk to. I think that protein can be just as addictive as carbs for some people. And the reason that I say that is because carbs give you that dopamine response from the sugar. And if your body is turning protein into sugar, I wonder if that's one of the reasons that so many of us, a lot of people have those intense protein cravings. Unless your iron is screwy and your ferritin is low, that's why you're going to have those protein cravings, because it's literally the only thing keeping you alive. But I kind of wonder for the people whose iron and ferritin are fine, if it is in fact lighting up your brain the same way that carbs did. You traded one drug for another, because overdoing anything is still a bad thing. Overdoing fat is a bad thing. If you consume more than you need, then you will gain weight. So I kind of wonder, and this all totally my own theory. My iron was super high on carnivore, almost too high. It could be, but I kind of wonder. Yep, carnivore was a mixed bag for me. Did wonderful things for my cravings and helping to break the sugar addiction. Did not do great things for my blood sugar. Yeah, I think that that's the 80%. That it did good stuff, but it didn't do everything. Like just eat meat and then look at how amazing I am. No problems, and my blood is all phenomenal and no issues. And yeah, we end up getting other issues. Let me see. Did I miss anything? Yes, dropping down protein was harder than I expected. Yeah. For me, like I said, my why is different. For me, there was absolutely, there goes the video again. I should just get off. Okay. So then I will, I'll probably just gonna let you guys go because it's been a long time anyways. Yeah. But anyways, I think that covered everything. Hopefully we got to all of the electrolytes. I'm going to go check my numbers and then go eat something. Yes, very much so. And I'm going to go make dinner for my dogs too. So thanks so much, guys. I love you all. And I will see you hopefully on Thursday. hopefully I don't have really bad storms. So we will see. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye.